Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Ron. It's Saturday morning, and it's a little after 10 a.m., so we'll go ahead and get started. Uh, on last week, I think we finished up speaking in Luke 11, looking at the passage that talks about let your light so shine, and putting your light on the bushel basket. We spoke from 11:33 uh, primarily through 33 through 36, and then we kind of tied in uh, verse 39 as well. But any questions on anything with these verses or anything you may have encountered during the week? Anyone? Well, the only thing that I really saw that I thought was interesting, uh, watching CNN on yesterday evening and looking at some of the stuff that's going on around the earth. The earth is in a pretty chaotic state. We see the things going on in America. We see the fires and the earthquakes that we talk about, and some of those things, and all the crime. But a lot of stuff like that is still happening all over the world. You have uncontrolled fires in Africa. You have famines in Africa. You have there were fires. I want to say in the uninhabitable lands, the places in China as well. Just chaos everywhere, and it just uh, kind of remind us of who we are, what we are, and the importance of what we're doing. Uh, this is this is no coincidence, but I just thought it was interesting that to see that major portions of the earth are really, really battling with being settled or finding peace, and I thought that was interesting. Any questions and or comments on that? I guess the, the thing that surprised me the most is I had not seen them do a lot of show a lot of information on Africa, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So, but
Ron, good
anyway,
morning. This is Kathy. Good morning.
good morning, Kathy. How are you?
Doing well. I wanted to make a quick comment. I was talking to you and Pastor one day, recently, and I was saying, man, if it were not for us, what shape would this world be in? And then you and Pastor made the comment, no, it is because of us that all of these things are happening. So could you speak to that for just a moment?
Well, I think it's almost like taking having holes in the floor or you know and trying to cover things over. And when you pick those rugs up, you perhaps put rugs over them so nobody will see them, and everything looks fine. But you pick those rugs up, and you see the devastation. You see the termite damage. You see the intentional holes in the floor. You see the blood stains from those who have been murdered, and you see all kind of just catastrophes and things that are not spoken of. And as you know, I was talking to a guy at work about something that I thought was very simple as we were looking at religion, and he asked me because he's the guy that comes to me all the time with questions, and I was explaining something to him, the diminishing of time we were talking about, and he's like, "Wow, I never thought about that. I never seen it like that." And you know, he even asked me about other churches and what they do, and you know, so things are being uncovered, things are being shaken up, and people eyes are being opened, and so we see these things, and it breaks, some of it breaks your heart, but at the core of being righteous and searching for truth, truth has to affect everything. And what we're seeing is that unpleasantness and that discomfort of everything being uncovered and being shaken. And it's kind of heartbreaking sometimes. Does that make sense, Kathy?
Yes, it does. I just wanted you to share that because when we talk each week, we talk about how all of these things make us feel sometimes, and we're seeing it. And I thought you all did a very good job of putting that in perspective for me because I was feeling that way. And when you said that, it made sense to me, and I got a piece about it. So I wanted to just share that. I wanted you to share that this morning. So thank you.
I bring it up, and I try to bring up stuff every week so we can see. See, religion paints a different picture to us. Religion points to everything being meek and humble, and everything is in its proper place. And the only thing that you strive to achieve in religion is wealth and the quote unquote blessings of God, which is materialism. So your faith is supposed to take you to those type of blessings, and the rest of it, the uncomfortable things, and religion would even say those things are because those lands aren't being blessed by God. And it's because those people don't know who the Creator is, or they don't have enough faith, when that is totally untrue. So we are picking up those clean, beautiful rugs that religion has laid down and makes everything seem okay. And we're seeing what the earth and the world really looks like, and that is okay. We are also encouraged by that to keep the flow of direction that we're going in. So, anyone else? Anyone want to add to that or see something? Something else or different in that?
Well, good morning,
Good morning.
Barbara. I'll say like Martin Luther King said, I had a dream.
Okay.
So mine may not be anywhere near as lofty as his dreams are. But in this dream, I was at a place somewhere in South Carolina. I think it was a hospital or something. And someone of the ilk of Jeff Bezos was coming to live in South Carolina and coming on board on one of the hospital boards and whatever. And so I had to do the welcome. Anyway, you know how quick it gets from introduction to the welcome. By the time it got to the welcome, I found I didn't know anything about the person. No one had given me any information, nothing to share. So I went somewhere where I thought I might be able to get the information. I think Rainier gave me something on that fella. On my way back, this lady was delivering a baby. I'm a nurse, so I'm going to stop and help her deliver the baby because no one else was around. When I get back to the program, or whatever it was, it appeared to be a program, someone had put a lot of written information about this man on the podium for me to introduce. And so I said, I can't do this. The only thing I can do is this is a person of great wealth and great influence. And so the only thing I said is that I have this young baby. I just delivered this young baby. And the thing that you can do, it doesn't matter where you went to school, it doesn't matter what you've done, it doesn't matter what corporations you've headed, it doesn't matter how much money, but the thing that you can do is help propel this infant to be his greatest potential as a human. I don't know where it came from, but which implies a lot of responsibility if you accept that challenge. And so, with all the implication was, with all your wealth, with all your knowledge, with everything, with all your contacts, if you are not helping propel people to be the best human they can be, what is the point? And
Wow.
I use that infant as an indication of not just that one infant, but all infants, because I said this is the future right here. And if you don't contribute to the future of humanity and its growth, what's the point? And so that's the way it ended. Anyway, but I thought it fit what you were talking about, what Kathy asked about, what are we doing? What's going on in the earth? Well, that's part of what's going on in the earth, the shaking of the earth, and that's what we do. And we have to not be afraid of the shaking that comes in whatever form as a result of wanting balance in the universe and wanting everybody to know the Elohim they are. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful and full of wisdom. I really appreciate that. And yes, it does fit very nicely. I thought about something while you were speaking as well. Last night I was, or the night before, I can't remember what, the night before I think was, Friday evening when it was, but I was laying in bed half asleep when that broadcast started, and it kind of made me open my eyes and take notice. And the sadness was quickly diminished, and the sadness turned to prayer and thanks. The sadness turned to me feeling gratitude and thanking God for who we are, who I am, and the growth and the opportunity that we have. And I thought about something. Everything is about breath. So the more we speak, the more we exhale, God sends us more to inhale. So we see these things, and they are a sign to us. They are an assurance to us that the direction and the course is necessary, and to stay on it. And the reward is there, but it is not a monetary thing or something that you even see right now. But the reward is to know that you are one with the universe and with the desire for truth. So I know that sounds weird because everything I described to you sounds negative, but it was kind of a reassurance to me. And I heart goes out to the people, of course, because you've heard me in the past speak a lot about Africa, because we have always been a people that have been ignored. But keep your heart strong and know that your breath is being felt throughout the universe. So thank you, Kathy and Barbara for your input there. Anyone else?
Good morning, everyone. Ron, based upon what you just now said, you stated you have to be one with the universe. And if we have to be one with the universe, I don't necessarily agree with that we need to dominate the earth. Um, when Ms. Cassie says we need to dominate the earth, I completely understand what she's saying because I know Miss Cassie know how to dominate the earth. Now, if other individuals say that, I don't so much believe them. So if we ought to be one with the earth, is there really a need to dominate the earth? That's just something I don't believe in. I think you should work with the earth. Because when you look at that word dominate and you look at the word the similes of it, conquer, subdue, capture. So if we're saying, or if you, which I agree with now, we need to be one with the universe. Should we, if we're going to be one with the universe, how do we dominate it? Now, when you say, Ron, we got to dominate the earth, you're an individual that I believe. I know you know how to dominate the earth. In saying that, one with the universe, how do you dominate the earth? Oh, Ms. Cassie.
Let's look at this from. It's a good question, and let's look at it from a different word, a different way of seeing it. If I am full of wisdom, or if I have a knowledge of something, and my heart is to educate the people, not so they will know how to live. So I teach them how to plant and grow crops. I teach them how to rotate those plants. I teach them how to pay attention to the seasons and how to take care of each other and how to fish and take care of themselves. We set up council so that there be no tribes or no towns against each other. We set up just a system of harmony, how to share the river and the clean waters, and okay, you may be a people that make or that are fishermen, and you share and trade with those who are hunters, and so the whole earth is in harmony. But you come, that is dominating the earth. You learn how to take these resources and use them not only for the betterment of man, but for the betterment of the earth. So the earth is in harmony with you, and you are in harmony with the earth, whereas you're keeping everything not only flowing in a life-giving direction, but we are in that same breath. The earth benefits from who we are and us being a part of it. So, but there comes one who see these resources and not only take them by force, but he rapes the earth of his resources, and he enslaves the people to be what he desires them to be, and to use those things to build wealth and to separate people and put divisions between them and have them hate each other. So those are two different definitions or methods of dominating the earth. And unfortunately, the one that most of the earth has bought into is that the latter one that I described is the right way to do it. And that is one of the reasons why we're on the phone anyway, to show that true balance has nothing to do with a physical or a violent type of domination. True balance is working in harmony. And you start that by finding the harmony inside of you. And you do that by what we're doing now, and learning the value of breath, and learning the value of not only each and every individual, but learning the value of the elm tree that brings shade to the forest, and the richness of the soil, and the running water, and the lakes and the streams. You bring all that into balance by living with it in harmony. So that's the change that we're trying to make. And I think several weeks ago, I can't remember who said, it might have been Pastor who said, talked about hugging a tree, and feeling the energy of it. And not only you feeling the energy of the tree, you're sharing the energy. So it brings you, calms down those rough edges that are in you, and brings you to a point of calmness, and the walking barefooted and feeling the grass. So all of these things are part of what is dominating the earth, but it means to bring peace and balance to what those things that you are stronger than in a physical way, but that is not the purpose for your strength. So can somebody help with that, or maybe look at it from a different perspective, please?
And Ron, I embrace your answer. Just that when I hear people out of my era say, "Hey, we got to dominate the earth," I'm like, how can we dominate the earth and we ain't even been battle tested? Um, like I say, when Miss Cassie say, "Hey, we got to dominate," I know she know how to dominate the earth. We cut from the same cloth, yet our texture is different. But nonetheless, though, I embrace your interpretation of dominating the earth. It's just with other people, when they say that, I don't buy into it.
Uh,
And good morning. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to George, basically what you have said is always what I meant by dominate. Learning where you fit. When we are the man in the earth that is the image and likeness of the Father. So when we talk about dominating, it's going to be in line with everything that aligns with who the Father is. That word is one of the most misunderstood words ever, because it is not about power and might and force, and I'm going to make you do what I'm asking you to do. It's about leading by example. And what I mean by that, when you learn where you fit, did I show you, the other man, where you fit, and invite you to take your rightful place in seeing who you are. That is dominating. Domination was never about force, might, and strength. It is about the power, the inert power that you already have in you as a result of being Elohim. And you come up from a place of loving kindness, not hatred, force, and I will bend you to my will. And you're right, George, that is one of the most misunderstood words. And when people think of the word dominate, they usually are thinking might and strength and power that I lord over you. And that's not what it means at all. And I said something to Ron the other day, and I'm not ready to develop it yet. I'm still thinking about it, because it dawned on me when Pastor told us years ago, when you see God, the more ungodly, when you finally realize who God is, the more ungodly he will appear. Well, guess what? When you finally see who you are, the more ungodly you will appear too, because you will begin to let go of all of those religious things that have kept you in a place of bondage. And you begin to recognize when you hear the word dominate, or some of the words, I can't think of another one right now that has been really taken out of proportion and used in the wrong way. But like you're saying, George, it will not resonate on the inside of you that that's what that word truly means, because we're beginning to move away from bondage type thinking and looking for truth and meaning and understanding. And when we get truth and meaning and understanding, that shows us where we fit. Because if it is a tapestry, if the world is a tapestry, then everyone has their place. And what brings balance is knowing where your place is and where you fit. And that place isn't where someone is lording over you that, you know what, I'm the superior race and you bend to my will. That's not the tapestry of the universe. The tapestry of the universe is about love and harmony and peace and balance. And so when we are using that word coming into a place of dominance and how you dominate, we're talking about from a place of loving kindness where I show you who you are. And because we are the man in the universe that is shaped in the image and likeness of the Father, we are showing all of humanity as well as everything else in the earth how to be into balance. That's why all of the universe is groaning and waiting for us to get it right, because it knows we're out of balance because we have not understood who we are. And so for the first time, I see us looking ungodly from everything that religion has taught us that we're to look like. And that's what's leading you to a question like, what is dominance? Because it has been totally misconstrued and used in the wrong way and with force and might. And that is never what we meant. So I hope that brings a little more clarity to your question, George. And if not, please feel free to, and anyone else, please feel free to add more. But thank you.
I have a
Thank you
question.
hold on one second. I want to make sure George is okay. Let's George, does that answer your question? Does that make sense? Because dominate is in part of the scriptures, and as Kathy said, we haven't understood that, but it means what she just explained, and does it make sense to you? That clearer now? And thank you for the question, by the way.
Well, it's always made. I've always understood it based upon talking about it. And the reason why I just asked the question, I was in a group with my peers, anywhere from 49 to 52, and someone made that we have to dominate the earth. And I asked them, or I asked the group, what dominates you and who dominates you? And all of a sudden, you could hear crickets chirp. So, like I say, I understand what it means to dominate the earth from my own interpretation, and I understand what others are saying. I just don't understand when other people say it. So I'm cool with it. Thank you very much.
Evelyn, hold on one second. I want to address that one more time, or at least from that
Sure.
perspective. That
Sure.
is part of the masculinity has misunderstood scriptures completely, and the dominate it really begins with your thoughts. If you look at the creation story, in other words, you learn to control who you are. You learn to those wayward thoughts that pop into our heads and drive us, and as I say, we move away from the harmony, and we see how to make money. We see how not only to survive but to dominate in a way that make others servants and make it leads us to wealth or to a higher status. But that masculinity to me is what drives the falsehood of religion, that I am superior. And not only am I superior, I dominate the femininity. I dominate women. I dominate everything. And that is so far from the truth. So yeah, when you talk about men, that is one of the wayward things that we're trying to correct now, and that is why you hear on the phone, when we see it, we embrace the feminine energy, because it does bring about balance. It does. To me, it enables you to see, and what I see, I mean with the third eye. You because until you embrace femininity and have that balance, there is no new life. So you're not going to see anything. So that's all a part of it. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about people sitting around talking about it. That's part of the issue right there. Not just not understanding. Okay. Anyone else? Evelyn, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, you don't have to apologize. Thank you. Kathy, if you will, maybe I missed it. Can you explain again what the more ungodly God looks? Can you help me with that? Maybe I missed it, but can you explain the ungodly, how ungodly God will look to me?
One of the things, and like I said, I'm still developing this and understanding it myself, Evelyn. Pastor said to us a long time ago, and we didn't even know what he meant then, that when you really begin to see who God is, the more ungodly he will look to you. Meaning that he is not going to look like the God of religion at all. Now we're seeing that. That's what we're uprooting. All of these things that we've been taught from religion that don't even align with kingdom principles and the understanding of what we are. That's what learning to live from the inside out, learning to be one with everything. That's not the kind of stuff that everything was being taught from the scriptures, and that's how we got confused. Now, what I realized, if God is going to look ungodly, and I am the image and likeness of who he is, then everything that was taught to me that was wrong in the beginning, that told me from a religious standpoint who I am, then it blinded me to who I really am. And now I'm beginning to realize when I begin to move away from that, those in religion are going to say, I look ungodly because I'm not doing the rituals and I'm not doing all of that stuff anymore that has been indoctrinated into us. I'm uprooting all of that, and I'm looking for truth. And I am now coming from a standpoint of truth and understanding, which is what we're doing every time we get on the phone, digging up all of those principles that have held us in bondage and kind of just blindsided us to who we're supposed to be. And now we're coming from a place of truth. And now that I'm coming from a place of absolute truth and understanding what truth looks like, when truth doesn't look like religion, if I have patterned my whole life according to religion, then now I'm not going to look like religion anymore. And to those who are still in a religious setting, I begin to look ungodly. And that's the stuff we've been experiencing for years, not even understanding that if God looks ungodly to those in religion, then so will we. And that's not a bad thing now because we're understanding that even along with George's question, when I'm walking in a place of dominance and authority, I'm walking in a place of loving kindness. And even though you may not always understand, we invite you and we teach you to see who you are. But you have freedom of choice. You have free will. And hopefully everyone will see who they really are and where they fit. But when I say that we begin to look ungodly, because when I embrace what's really being taught, what is really there, as opposed to what I've been fed, and I begin to live according to that, then according to religious standards, I no longer I don't look godly either. I hope that made sense. Because like I said, that just hit me the other night. And I've been kind of mulling that over and thinking about it. I just said it today. I'm not fully seeing it completely, but I feel like that's where we are. We're on the track of moving into a further away from religion and being more who we are and looking less and less godly according to what religion has said God is, if that makes sense.
It does, and I'm so glad. I kind of had an idea what you were talking about, but you explained it so beautifully. So I want to give you an example of what you just said, which makes a lot of sense. But anyway, at work, you guys know, at the agency, there's some things that transpired, and something took place where I was trying to speak to this young girl, talk to this young girl about something, and she turned her back. She had her back turned to me. So I told her, I said, look here, sweetie. I said, I'm just going to say sweetie for, I don't want to call her that name. But anyway, I told her, look here, I need your undivided attention. Well, she was angry and she started telling people she didn't like me, which is fine. This girl is only 22 years old. So I said, okay, that's fine. You don't like me, but it ain't me who you like. Don't like. It's you who you don't like. But anyway, I told her, well, she had an attitude. She wouldn't talk. And it had the whole department, like kind of the energy there was thick. So I had gotten to the place where it wasn't fun going to work anymore because I like what I do, but it wasn't fun anymore. But anyway, I realized I had to change my attitude. I had to change the way I looked at things in order to make the energy light on the board. But anyway, so I went to this little girl and I told her, I apologize if I offended you in any way. I said, I have a tendency of being direct. I come across sometimes it's cut and dry. I say what I got to say and I keep it moving. So she told me, she said, I apologize for what I did to you. And after that, well, the girls who saw what she did to me, they just threw daggers at her, And then after everything happened, this one girl asked me, she said, how could you apologize to her? You didn't do anything. I said, it's up to me how I carry myself on this board and what I do. I said, I'm responsible for what happens. I said, you may not understand it now, but I have to take the higher road. I have to be the bigger person on this board in order for things to function properly. So everything now is just perfect. It's not perfect, but the energy there is light. And this young girl, she comes to me now. And so that's what you mean by others. Religion has taught others, and us too, before we know better, that this is the way things are supposed to be when it's not. To me, that's the ungodly part, where you don't forgive people and have a negative attitude. That's the religious part. So thank you for explaining that to me, because I needed clarity on that. I'm done.
And guess what else you just described? How to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
That is a perfect example of what dominating looks like. You didn't turn everybody against her. You didn't rally the troops who were behind you and say, we're not going to like this young lady. We're going to treat her a certain way. You just remained in a place of loving kindness and even apologized when it wasn't even, according to the world standard, necessary. That's what we're talking about this morning. That's what that looks like. So thank you for sharing that. That's a perfect example of both things.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kathy,
thank you.
So Kathy, what you're saying also in another way is that she set the tone of balance in that, where she was, by what she did and how she did it. When it could have continued to be chaotic, and that's part of what balance and dominance is, setting the tone in an environment from an intent of loving kindness, and it affects everything around you.
Absolutely.
Is that not what you're saying also?
Absolutely, and that's what that example. I mean, all of us, like I said, I think it was you and Ron years ago, Barbara, that taught how everything is like a tapestry woven together. And everyone on that tapestry, for the pattern to be seen on that tapestry, it has to be in its place. Things have to be woven and fit to get a picture of what that tapestry is to become. Right now, the tapestry is chaotic. There is no picture that you can see or discern from that when you're looking at it, because things have been out of order for so long. And what we are now doing is bringing that balance and showing through loving kindness. We are now where all the edges have been tattered and the strings have come undone and everything is looking chaotic. To look at that picture, we are now weaving it back into a smooth pattern. And what you see is a universal harmony when it's all in its right place. So Evelyn was able to show this young lady where she fits, and without letting everything get out of order by everyone turning against her and keeping something going. Then it would have been a very unhealthy workplace for everyone involved, because nobody would be happy to be there every day. But by her doing the right thing and being in that place of loving kindness, she was able to show what dominance looks like, as well as because to those who are in religion, what she did may have seemed ungodly. Why would you go to someone and apologize when you've done nothing wrong? You weren't the one who did it. And that's really being I am, because you step up and do the right thing, because right is relative according to what's going on in that instance. And what I mean by that is that right to everyone else would have been, she would have had the right as her supervisor to write her up. She would have had the right to now have not have a good working relationship with her, but she chose to keep harmony in that department. And as a result of that, everyone saw her leadership. Everyone saw, now they see that, hey, we're in a place of harmony because this young lady has now changed her whole attitude toward the person in authority here. And that's how you and I don't even want to use the word rule. That's how you lead from a place of authority. When you have the authority to do what the world might say would have been the right thing, and you have the autonomy to do what the world would have said would have been the right thing in that situation. But you know the deeper from inside out what right really is. And that's what Evelyn did. So I think that's a great example. So yes, Barbara, I agree with everything you just said. So thank you.
It's like Evelyn served that person. Leader serves. A leader understands what it means to serve. A leader understands what it needs to provide what the person needed. And for that person right there, they did not need to feel authority. They needed to feel embraced with I'm sorry, I apologize, even though whether it was necessary or not, that's what they needed to hear. So Evelyn served in that purpose, and became the leader and continues to be a leader because of her serving the needs of that person, in a sense.
I couldn't agree more, and I want to back it up. I see another example here that we talked about last week, or what Kathy added fits perfectly. These verses that we looked at last week in Luke 11, I'm reading 35 and 36. Said, then watch out that the light in you may not be darkness. If therefore your whole body is full of light with no dark part in it, it shall be wholly illumined as when the lamp illumines you with its rays. When you guys are talking there, and Barbara said it right there at the end, I see the I am. And the part of that is the more, the more it walks away from religion, and it doesn't look like what you thought God would look like. And she said that is us describing us as well. That assurance, that confidence, that awareness is probably the better word, has to be illumined in you. So when you have those doubts, and when it doesn't look like what religion, that could be the darkness that you're battling. You see that part, because as I said, it took me a few minutes to recognize and see the thing, that instead of just saying I am Elohim, I had to see that, and I didn't see it at first, and it took me a minute. So that was the darkness in me, and it illumined me when I could see that. So when Barbara just talked about the I am, if you think about it, when you recognize that I am the Elohim, the true essence of being I am has no beginning or end. As she said, it provides whatever is needed. So that's why we are hard to recognize, because you are the provider of what the earth needs. So it is not shaped. It does not come into a form. It does not have a beginning or an end. It is whatever is needed at whatever time and place. And that is what we have, or in the process of becoming. This is good. Any other questions or comments?
Well, one aspect about the closer you get to the Creator, the more ungodly he or her will appear. You may want to factor in that if it's like your first rodeo of experiencing that, you will be a little intoxicated or drunk or off your rocker. So if tied back to the Noah situation of Noah being drunk, in his experience with the Creator, he could have been off his rockers a little bit. I've in 51 years, I've only had two experiences of being close to the Creator. The first one was a piece of cake, and the second one, I didn't want to experience anymore. And I told life or the
George,
universe.
George, hold on one second. I'm gonna let you finish that. I gotta stop you what you just said. You just taught the whole lesson of Noah. When you described the drunkenness, that's what we were trying to get across. So that just is, to me, is worth a pause. What you see and what you said there, and that very statement, I disagree with you when you say I've only had 2 encounters with the Creator. So it happens for us all the time. It happens for you all the time. You don't recognize it, just as you didn't recognize that in the statement that you just made. That was a perfect example of what we were trying to teach there.
Well,
I'm sorry.
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment that you gave, Ron. That we always in connection with. Now the attention that I give it is what separates me from the Creator, and the attention that I do give it is the one that closes the equity. So that's a fair assessment. It's like I say, however, that second experience I had, I just, I made a covenant or agreement with life for people who do want to walk that walk. Hey, I'll support them. But I don't ever want to go through that again. That's not saying I won't go through it. I just don't want to go through it again. So when you are, I equate what getting close to, I equate it to love. If the things that I have been in love with, I don't meet expectations. I'm exceeding expectations, and am I exceeding expectations? I don't get I get farther away from it and just trying to exceed the expectations. So just factor in that if that's your first rodeo of recognizing you and the Creator are one, you may be a little intoxicated in how you deprogram. That's it.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Anybody? Love this. Do you guys see how the questions and comments feed who we are? I said something to Kathy last week. My quest is that I try to do this daily, and that is ask the Creator, what is it you want me to see? What is it we are to see? Bring it to us, and we'll talk about it. We'll put it in the earth. We will open up the wisdom and make it into understanding and leave that in the universe. So whether it comes in the form of questions, whether it comes in the form of comments, or you, the Creator gives one of us a thought or a lesson or something, whatever we are to discuss and put out there, we embrace. And again, that is the I am. It has no beginning or end. It just is. Whatever it is, it is. So this is a perfect example of that. What we're doing now. And so even if the energy of your thoughts and your desires to receive carries the strength and energy as well. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments? Okay. Pastor, have you joined us yet? Okay.
Ron, I have a comment I'd like to make. Oh, I'm sorry, I yield.
No, because I was about to go in a different direction, but go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that what we're discussing, what we put out there in the macro, to me, I feel that our eye is being, our vision is being, clearer. I do feel that we're focusing, that the eye is being, I don't know what word to use, but I can feel that we're making a big difference. I feel different. I see things in a different way now through the eye. The vision is being clear through the eye. And just experiencing things on a daily basis, just like on yesterday, I had one of the best times of my life and with my family. And I could just see the eye is really the vision is being clear. We're focusing more now and we could see things much better. But I just wanted to put that out there. We are making a difference. Things are changing. I'll leave it right there. I can't really say what I see, but do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I do. I call it a continuous transformation. We are being transformed into the beings that we were created to be from the very beginning, and it is sometimes easier than other times, but it is an ebb and flow, and we are growing to the point, Evelyn, where we don't struggle with it half as much as we once did. So I too share your enthusiasm, and I share your we were at on homegoing services for pastor's mom on yesterday, but after the service we had a great time, and I left there too feeling enlightened and feeling energized, and as I think I said to I was telling George, I kind of felt this a long time ago and didn't know what it was, but I felt it when my mother transitioned as well. I think there is an energy that is released that gives us opportunity to inhale and see who we are even more. And so if we know and believe that Jesus left us a comforter, or he left us energy, he left us something to hold on to, I venture to say, well, without a clear understanding of it, that same energy is left each time that a loved one or transitions. So yesterday was pure beautiful to me. Although it was, a funeral is a sad occasion at points, of course, because of the hurt and the love you feel for the family. The spiritual energy of it, to me, just kind of overwhelmed me at the end of the evening. So I too felt that. So,
and Ron, think about this. On the way up there, it rained on 26. We were going up there, but when we got to the building where where it was held, the rain stopped. I mean, I saw the beauty in that. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I got ready to leave. I left kind of early, and when I got ready to leave, something said put a hat in the car, and I went back in my house and got a hat. And I said, it's not going to rain. You don't need that. So I just threw it in the back seat. I didn't worry about it anymore. And even when it started to drizzle, it didn't faze me, because it stopped just as soon as it started. So it was a very, very good day in that respect. And that's not, I hope that doesn't sound disrespectful at all to anyone.
Right.
So anyone else? I read something, and I'm trying to find it, how it was worded. we've already been an hour. I don't know if I want to go into a lesson now, because I was going to ask Pastor and George to go into the Dogons, what they see there and how that ties to us. But they're not on the line right now. I read something. I just want to introduce part of it to you, and we'll go from there. I'm going to read something in Matthew chapter 3, okay? And the first part of this, I'm going to read just to kind of lay a background. Jesus is beginning his ministry here. And I'm going to read the first couple of verses, first 4 or 5 verses. And then I'm going to switch over and read the latter half of the chapter. Because the latter half of the chapter, actually, verses 13 through 16 is what I really want to talk about. But I want to show you John the Baptist. It says, now in those days, John the Baptist came preaching in the wilderness of Judea, saying, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. But this is the one who referred to it by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make ready the way of the Lord, make his path straight. Now John himself had garments of camel's hair and a leather belt about his waist, and his food was locusts and wild honey. Then Jerusalem was going out to him, and all Judea and all the district around the Jordan, and they were baptized by him in the Jordan River as they confessed their sins. And I just read that to kind of give a background so you know who John the Baptist is and what's taking place here. I'm going to skip down to verse 13 and read this. Then I'm going to explain why this intrigues me. Then Jesus arrived from Galilee at the Jordan, coming to John to be baptized by him. But John tried to prevent him, saying, I have need to be baptized by you, and do you come to me? And Jesus answered, said to him, Permit it at this time, for in this way it is fitting for us to fulfill all the righteousness. Then he permitted him. And after being baptized, Jesus went up immediately from the waters, and behold, the heavens were open, and he saw the Spirit of God descending as a dove and coming upon him. And behold, a voice out of the heavens saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. That's intriguing to me. I was looking at something because on the last few days we were looking at chapter 11 of Luke. That light kind of intrigued me, and I was reading something that talked about a mikvah. A mikvah is a baptism, is a cleansing, it's a ritual cleansing, and so we know it as being baptized. But this rabbi said something that I thought was very interesting. He said, again, looking at this thing from 2 perspectives. The first perspective is the very practical, which I want to get in the habit of talking about all the time, because as George kind of reminded me today, we may not always be as detailed in what we say, and maybe just offer an opportunity to slow down and offer further explanation. So when you look at a baptism, we do it when we join the church. We do it because it has become a ritual, especially in the Baptist religion. You join the church by being baptized, and it is supposedly the ritual is a cleansing of for you when you. It talks about a purification of the heart or cleansing of your heart when you join the church or when you become baptized, or as much as you understand that. What the rabbi was explaining, though, is a little added value to that. What he explained was the what am I trying to say? the type of giving is whatever you give is a type of baptism. It is a type of mikvah. And so that kind of got my attention. He's saying that your mikvah should have intention. You should give that thought before you are immersed. And of course, that should be your thoughts from the inside out. So when you go through that immersion, you are becoming one with the Creator. And the dipping in it has a lot to do, or you look at it from the perspective of I am voluntarily being overwhelmed by this. I am being covered over by this water. I'm being my whole being is being immersed in this cleansing process. And the other part of it is your intent is for purification. Your intent has to do with surrendering. So a part of this intent is a surrendering or a feeling of what am I? I give up my pride. I give up who I am. I'm putting this thing first to redefine me, to reestablish who I am. So when I hold my breath, that is a type of I'm volunteering to give up this life. I'm volunteering to give up being wrong. I'm volunteering. I think it was 7 immersions, because you're doing this other than how we do it as the Baptists. You individually are immersing yourself. You are immersing yourself. So, and each one of those 7 dips has a purpose. So I'm giving up my pride. I'm giving up my ambitions. I'm giving all these things up for this intent that I have set before myself. This internal thing that is driving me to do this. So this thing comes supposedly what the dipping or the being immersed in this thing, and as I'm saying, it's an overwhelm. I'm going to be overwhelmed though by what that intent is. So if let's say my intent is to be a giver, then I will be immersed in that. I will be overtaken by the giving. So you look at that and it kind of looks at this thing from a different perspective. Now here is the fun part of this. As you look at it, so he called this mikvah as it is an agreement with the Creator. So, for example, let me back up and say this first, because this is very important. The purpose of the waters of the mikvah in this time when Jesus was doing this, there were mikvah baths all over the city. There were even in private homes of those who were wealthy had their own mikvah baths. So there were pools and gatherings of place to gather water all over the city. There were rules by it, of course. You could not, for example, use any type of metal. It was something it had to be able to come from clean water. So you had to ensure that you were just not being dipped in water. There were basic rules for the water to ensure that it was a clean water. The original waters of it, though, were in a river or a stream, something that was running water, something that was not only clean but clear, and you could see in it. So the interesting thing here is this is being done in the Jordan, which if you go back and look at who was that sent Naaman into the Elijah. if you go back and look at that story, the Jordan was not seen to be a clean water. But I'm going to come back to that. But what the rabbi is saying is the agreement with the Creator is the mikvah cleanses whatever you are doing with that intent. So, for example, if I look at this and understand what he's saying, we have purposed ourselves to bring about understanding and loving kindness in the earth. So the wisdom that God gives us flows without end. So what it's saying is the agreement that you enter into comes without ceasing. As long as you give, there is going to be something for you to give. So you are enriched by what you give. If yours is to give knowledge, if yours is to give understanding, if yours is to give these things, and to further kind of solidify that, if you look at that, we read a lot of things. We read a lot of things, and I was sitting out there, as Evelyn talked about yesterday. Betsy was standing out there in Georgia, and LaVon, and we're all standing out there talking, and I listened to what they were saying, and it just reminded me all the stuff I don't know. I'm listening to all these books and all these sources, and George says some stuff that I'm like, wow, I want to read that. I got to see that. So, but what we do is not canned. In other words, we don't copy lessons. We don't repeat things that we read or somebody else has said. We don't talk about somebody else's lesson or somebody else recorded. We use the wisdom that we gain, and we talk about it until we gain an understanding. And when it comes out, I hope, as understanding. So it is not a canned thing, and it is the flowing of the water, because the water flows without ceasing. It is symbolic of the Creator pouring into you the rivers that are needed. So that information steadily flows, and you are enriched by what you are giving. I just thought that was interesting as we and as I said from the onset, we kind of purpose this with the light. Putting your thing under a bushel, you have measured knowledge. It is only when you share it that you open it up and you get questions, you get comments, you see other revelation. It just opens up a river. It opens up a flood of enlightenment for the whole entire earth, not just for us on this phone. So I thought that word mikvah was extremely important, and it kind of tied in to what we were already looking at. So any questions or comments about that? Okay. Let's see. Now, what I did not get an opportunity to look up, Jordan is spelled Yod, Resh, Daleth, and Nun, and I did not get to look those up. Hopefully, I can do that. But some of the things I saw is that the Jordan flows from the north to the south, and from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea, and it means to descend, to go down or descend. So when you look at Naaman as the example I gave, and Naaman kept saying, why would he send me to this dirty river? Why would he send me here to do this? Naaman had pride, and he had to lower himself to trust the prophet, to do what the prophet said if you want to be cleared of this leprosy. So in other words, the cleansing had to be from the inside out, although he only saw it as the leprosy as an external thing at the time. he understood more when he went into it. And maybe that's something we can get into it, looking at that from a different perspective, looking at that. But I thought that kind of sums up the difference between religion and spiritual truth. Religion sees this thing as an outside thing, without giving much thought, or the spiritual, giving much thought to the spiritual significance of what you're doing. So the whole power behind mikvah is intent. And I just thought that was interesting. It opens you up to enlightenment. So the Jordan, there's some more information that I probably could search out on the Jordan, and probably will, but I just thought this was extremely interesting to look at. Any questions or comments, y'all? Anybody? Okay. So, and so that 16th verse, after being baptized, Jesus went up immediately from the water, and behold, the heavens were open, and he saw the Spirit of God descending as a dove and coming upon him. Behold, a voice out of heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." This kind of explained what we're talking about, and I'll get into this again. But as we talked about earlier today, becoming or recognizing that I am the I am. And unlike Naaman, this is the total opposite of having what's the word? What's the disease? Leprosy. Having leprosy. The vibrations are all through him. This is a portal that is open, and it is not for he is not going through the portal. The portal is raining energy down on him. So as you see this, this happens when through this baptism, that the heavens open up, and there, in other words, there are no limitations. There, he has become the whole thing that he was seeking or sought to become has overtaken him. That immersion has overtaken him, and he has become that. So when we go through that type of death process, where I volunteer to dip 7 times, that 7 being the fulfillment. I fulfilled this life. I'm going through this doorway. I'm going through the dying of my earthly self, and this is me in full recognition of my soul, that is my full purpose. That and that is what opens up the portal, that the energy rains on us, and we see who we totally are. And again, you become enriched by that which you are purposed to give. There are no limitations to you in that regard. So, but I apologize to you, because when I saw this, I haven't had time to really research it. It's so much more about this Jordan that I want to see. So it'll give me some opportunity to look at this a bit further. Okay. Questions or comments, y'all? Okay. Well, I guess that's all I have for right now. And if there is nothing else to grab our attention tomorrow, maybe give me a chance to research this a little bit more and look at the Jordan again. Kind of open this up a little bit more. Okay. Is that all right with everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Ron, could you
Okay.
say the scripture you just read from again?
Yes, ma'am. I was reading Matthew chapter 3, specifically verses 13 through 17.
Okay, thank you.
But there is something about this Jordan. There is something about the Jordan that because the Jordan was a murky river, and the mikvah supposed to be cleansed. So there is a part of this that I have not seen yet, and I readily say that because I'm excited about it. I know I say that to everyone. So if you get a chance to look at it, it'll hopefully enlighten our discussion when we all come back together. If there's nothing, you know what, I never worry about these things. If we come back to it tomorrow or we come back to it next month, it doesn't matter, because we'll talk about tomorrow what we're supposed to talk about tomorrow. But if you get a chance, take a look at this, and if we talk about it, we'll come back to it. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. You guys have a great day. What's left of the Saturday? I think the weather's supposed to still be pretty decent out. So at least here in the Carolinas. But hope you have a great day. And I think today was a great discussion. Appreciate all the questions and comments. And that, again, is what drives us, opens things up to us. Okay. Have a great day, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.